Hello and welcome to www.lostboys.com. My name is Chris McGuigan. You're listening to podcast number 151 on January the 17th, 2013. Well, this week we catch up with Jamie and Jerry. As you would expect, we've had a little hiatus for a few weeks over the Christmas period. Tried to get together a few times, but our planets wouldn't align. Anyway, so we got back and we talk about everything under the sun. We look at league reconstruction, talk about Gordon Strachan, talk about the team so far. What a good old yarn so it did, and hope you enjoy it. Here we go. Alright, it is the 16th of January 2013, and although they tried to only have this podcast on public holidays, by public demand we're back every week from now on. They can't stop us, lads, huh?
It's, how many times have we tried this in the past 3 weeks?
Maybe once or twice, but that's alright. Good things come to those who wait. So, obviously on the line I have Jared Dale, treasurer of the Calgary Celtic Supporters Club, and of course I have James Birchall from what was LostBhoys.com. Good evening, gentlemen. How are we this evening?
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's to you both.
Thank you very much. That's very nice, isn't it?
Happy birthday to this guy right here.
The big 4-0, James.
James Daniel Birchall is 40 years old.
I keep forgetting that. When's your birthday?
Three Kings Day or Epiphany, depending on what religion you are. The greatest day in the world, January 6th. The day that the three wise men visited baby Jesus.
To me and you, Jerry, that's the day we take our Christmas decorations down.
So mine's just a couple of days before yours, Jamie.
Almost as good.
Look at that. The birthday boys are on. Fantastic. How have you been anyway? Did you have a good Christmas and New Year?
Very much. Yeah. Go ahead, Jerry. Talk about your Christmas. How was your Christmas?
Yeah, Jerry, how was your Christmas?
Christmas? It was non-eventful.
Oh, okay then. How was your New Year, Jared?
That was non-eventful as well.
You're not being drawn on the issue, so you're not.
Bring in the New Year with someone special?
Not the New Year.
These damn lawyers, Jimmy. You can't draw them. So you can't lead the witness.
Dale, don't you know that me and McGuigan are trying to live vicariously through you? That both of us combined have been married close to 34 years? 33 years?
If you want any information out of me, you're going to need a waterboard.
James, bring out the waterboard. All right, enough of this nonsense anyway. So the World of Celtic, we've got lots and lots to talk about tonight, don't we? Do we?
Do we really? When was the last time we watched a game?
When was the last time I watched a game?
And don't tell me last night.
I don't think I've missed a game.
But when was that?
Just going back, Hibs 1, Celtic 0 on the 29th of December. We had Dundee 0, Celtic 2 on the 26th of December. Celtic 4, Ross County.
They beat Motherwell 1-0 after that. They beat Motherwell 1-0.
You're right. We beat Motherwell on the 2nd of January. You're correct.
Listen, all that is so 2012.
That's right. Move on. It's a new year. You know, I remember the days we used to sit down here the first week and second week of January and do a whole review of how we've done so far and what we had to look forward to and all that kind of good stuff. Gone are those days. All we do now is just come on here and have a natter and talk about Christmas presents and Jerry's new love.
There you go.
In fact, I think I'd rather talk about that.
I really would much prefer, to be honest with you. Jerry, redhead?
I told you, get your waterboard.
He's not giving it up. We'll just have to make up our own conclusions, then, James. That's pretty more fun.
I think she's 6'5".
and 15 years old.
Former WNBA player.
And how's the weather?
It's cold, very cold. It's like 32 degrees, 33 degrees.
-2 in sunny England. -2.
Why did you move there?
It's great. It's great. I can travel up to see Celtic now and again.
He's become a bit of a fairy, Jerry. You know this, right?
Oh, I know he is.
Okay. You've been leading up to this all day. Come on, give me your best shot. What's your beef?
I tried to text him the other day, Dale. Guess where he was? In the bath. couldn't talk to one of his best buds, a guy he said that me and you are going to carry his coffin one day. It won't be very heavy, obviously, but...
You know what the line is? He says, we'll carry each other's coffins. Think about that for a second.
And he couldn't talk to me via FaceTime because little wee Spud was in the bath.
I didn't want you to see my little wee Spud.
I'll tell you, if anyone does follow me on Twitter and don't, you got to go through some of my tweets and look at the wee Spud in the bucket that I sent.
Honest to God, Jamie, I almost pissed my pants this afternoon.
You're easy entertained, so you are, deal.
People are coming in to ask me what I was laughing at.
Yeah, bloody taxpayers while you were goofing off from work.
I told you I was on my lunch.
Yeah. I think bloody taxpayers are paying for that. Typical civil servant. All right, so what's your big one?
I'm not really going to tell you what I did at lunch today.
See, there he goes again. There he goes again. He drops another fly into the river, hoping for a bite from the bass hunters.
He's playing basketball is what he was doing. Here's what I also want to talk about with the McGuigan little character. So now, the little guy, he always takes baths, he goes for pedicures, manis, all these things down, and now he's going to France for his vacation. He's not going to Vegas because little prissy boy's got to go see Disney World in Paris.
Like Vegas
You're not coming to Vegas.
Vegas is dead to me, so it is. It's dead to me.
You there?
Like, we need to tell you, lads, we probably kid ourselves about Vegas. See, when you live 6 hours away from Celtic Park, why would you not just drive up to Celtic Park? And more to the point, why have you guys not been to Celtic Park in such a long time? And Jamie Purcell, you've never been. So all that money that you spend in Vegas, why don't you just come over here? I'll put you up. A lovely big bathtub up there that you can enjoy.
Listen to me. I'm being serious. Listen to me, you little shit. Okay? I need this. I've been married 15 years, brother. Okay? I need Vegas. Now you're taking that away from me so you can go flopping around France with your beret? It's not going to happen, dude. You're coming to Vegas. Good. Well, you know what? Forget McGuigan. I'm going to Vegas. Okay, because I'm getting a hall pass and I'm going to Vegas. And you can kiss my ass, McGuigan, because I'll go by myself.
I'm no use in Vegas anyway. I always lose my voice. All right. Enough of this nonsense. Right.
We're going to talk about seriously. You're actually going to go to Euro Disney instead of Vegas.
That's right. That's the way I roll.
When did they get cut off exactly?
Homo.
I don't think there's any need for that, lads, to be perfectly honest with you. It's a family show.
He's a eunuch.
They might eventually grow back, Chris. They're in a vice, my boy.
Some people like that.
Not that there's anything wrong with that,
Not that there's anything wrong with that at all.
All right. Enjoy your Brazilian wax and Disney and all that shit. Let's get talking about Celtic.
Look, I'm going to go to France and I'm going to lie on the beach. I'm going to be beautiful. There's going to be lovely tanned ladies there in their bikini bottoms and all that kind of stuff. And you two are going to be dry humping each other in the back of the bar in bloody Vegas. Talking about what could be.
Not this year, dude. I'm making it happen this year. I'm going with a freaking purpose.
All right, so we're sitting top of the league. We're in the last 16 of the Champions League. We have Juventus coming up thick and fast. We are still in
Struggling
Juventus, right? And we're still in all the cup competitions. We've just made another signing. We have another guy, looks like he's right on the hook. We're just waiting to pull him in. And nobody of any note has left. Things are good.
Things are great.
There's even talk of the reconstruction of the league, so the Huns will still be in the bottom tier for another year. It's brilliant. Chuckles Green is on the TV every single day, making an absolute twat out of himself.
Yeah, it's really not a subject we've talked about all season. And fair dues to us for doing that. So, as the great man says, it's not on my radar, Chris.
Absolutely not. But we have avoided it on purpose, right? I mean, I think even it must be the last dozen podcasts we've done. We've never even mentioned their name, right? But right now, it's so comical.
You can just tell they're really, really struggling to get attention now.
Aye, No, okay, so let's not talk about them. Let's talk about Celtic. Let's talk about moving forward and all the rest of it. So we have signed Rami Gershon, an on-loan defender, and I think that definitely was one area where we wanted to strengthen. Looking at the defence over the last few matches anyway, sometimes it's looked a wee bit creaky, hasn't it?
I was just slagging you there, not to tell me that you watched the game last night, but I did keep an eye on it, and I was also keeping an eye on a lot of the comments about Aguirre for some reason last night. A lot of people were slagging him off, really pointing out his deficiencies. I don't know if it was warranted or not. What do you think? Do we need cover for him?
Yes. I would say definitely yes. I think that, and I find this hard to believe that I'm actually saying this, I think Izzy's form this season has been pretty poor. Usual thing, he's really, really good going forward, and even sometimes he can cross the ball. But defensive-wise, I think he's very suspect at the minute. I'm not saying he's a bad player, but I just think as a unit, the team's clicking into gear, and it's hard to criticise very many of the players at the minute based on their performances. But if you were to pick one out, probably Izzy is the weakest link in the team. What about you, James? Do you agree with that or not?
I have a tough time slagging Aguirre, to be honest with you, but because his crosses are really just brilliant, and what he does with the ball. But coming back, he's a liability in the back, without question. If you look at a lot of the big goals that have been given up to, how many times you said, boy, Izzy just didn't get back?
That's a fair point.
But I think when you look at the central defence, that was one area where we always were very, very sceptical about performances over the last few seasons. And I'm not seeing very much trouble in there. I think Big Ambrose is doing well, and I think we're going to miss him when he goes to the African Cup of Nations.
How long is that? 3-4 weeks?
I think if they make it to the final, it can be 3.5, 4 weeks. So I mean that's a bit of a worry there. But then of course you can move sort of Mulgrew back in there, and we've plenty of options in midfield. Having said that, I think Mulgrew's done pretty well in midfield recently.
Will he be back in time for the Champions League?
I doubt that. I don't know. He might just be back. Although Calvin Wilson, I think, is playing out of his skin.
I will look that up as you're talking.
Okay. I'm still a wee bit worried about Thomas Rania for cover. I'm not sort of warm and fuzzy about Thomas Rania coming on.
He's become kind of a disappointment. He hasn't developed as well as we'd hoped for, has he?
Well, he's been very injury prone, hasn't he?
Uh-huh.
Mm. Can I ask you a question? What was the point in last night's match?
Because I hadn't played in 2 weeks. It was just more about fitness than anything else, I think.
But if they're on a break, they're on a break. Should they have been playing a match? I don't know. I mean, I'd say that it was one of those games I thought, this is just going to be turgid, and I actually enjoyed it. I thought it was good. I thought Twitter was brilliant last night. That was a real laugh the whole way through the match,
I was pissed because I had a meeting, so I had back-to-back. I actually did some work yesterday. I mean, today would have been brilliant because I did really nothing today.
I thought Jerry boycotted it because Zaluska started.
What did you think of him, the goal that they scored?
I thought he was at fault for the goal they scored.
Okay.
No, well, so in saying that, I thought Aguirre was very slow getting back to. But I mean, it was a good shot, but he sort of fell on his ass, didn't he?
Right.
Anyway, I mean, I don't want to take negatives out of last night. It was a morale boosting win.
It was just it was just exercise and fitness. That's all it was. They just hadn't played in a couple of weeks, and that's all it was. And that's all you need to take away from it.
It was an exercise.
Although, who scored that second goal for Celtic?
What do you mean, who scored it? I tell you what, you all lost faith in him. I was always sticking by Bangurrraaaa.
Yeah, sure you are.
I tell you what, though. See, when I was watching him last night, I thought to myself, I've got a Reggie Blinker wig up in the loft somewhere. All I need to do is dye the ends of it gold. I'm sure there's a wee man in the bars today working his ass off, dyeing the end of Reggie Blinker's wig the colour gold. Make himself a fortune.
Seriously, where does he fit in the plans?
I don't know. You know, I mean, you wouldn't see him getting on before Samaras, Hooper, Watt, not even Big Stokesies coming back again too.
There's talk of signing this American guy as well. You know, seriously, where does he fit in the plans?
I don't know, unless it's just for cover. If one of those main guys get injured, he'll warm the bench and maybe come on.
Well, if 4 guys get injured, he may get a game.
And then you've Lassad there too.
That's right. Lassad's there. Even Miku, but he's supposed to be for the off, so who knows? Mm-hmm. So he's the 7th, the number 7 striker in the club.
Hey, 7's a lucky number for you guys.
All right, he's number 8 then.
I think maybe I'm sure there was some hijinks when they were away on their holidays, and he must have won a competition, beer pong or something.
And he gets to play.
Yeah, whoever wins beer pong gets on against Stuart Bucharest.
Well, he got the captain's armband last night because it was his birthday.
See, it was one of those matches. They probably passed around cans of harp and fags at half time. Just come on, lads, let's just do this right. Although I think they at the start they underestimated the European giants that are Stuart Bucharest, although Tony Watt probably says, who? What kind of malarkey was that?
What are you talking about?
So Tony Watt was interviewed before the match, right, early on in the day, and he said that he didn't really know much about Stuart Bucharest. Which I think is a fair comment, He says, I've heard of them and, they're sort of biggish European team, but don't know much about them. And Celtic came out and made a statement saying that they didn't agree with his comments and they really respect Stuart Bucharest. Like, don't be hanging the wee boy out to dry.
19-year-old boy. Come on.
I mean, they're no Cluj. But they're not a bad side. But I thought
would Yama come out and say he grew up watching him? Celtic and Stewart.
His 2 favourites.
His 2 favourite teams. This is a match made in heaven for me.
It was this dream matchup.
But I thought it was interesting, when we were 1-0 down, it was exactly what you said, Jerry. It was just an exercise in fitness. And then, once we drew the match, once we tied the match and then went in front, it was, we don't play friendlies. Who says Celtic supporters are fickle, huh? Certainly not me. Okay, so a few other things that we haven't covered lately.
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure, you can ask away, man.
Why do we even have this break?
It's because in past years some of the pitches have been frozen and matches have been postponed and all the rest of it, so they put a wee buffer in there. But the weather hasn't been too bad this year. But I don't know. I think a winter break's a good idea if it's 2-3 weeks. I miss the football, of course I do. But I'm sure for the players it's a good idea. Get your batteries recharged and get back after it again, huh?
All right, I like the idea of it.
I don't think I've got a problem with it at all. So one of the things I want to talk about tonight, and I forgot to put it on the agenda, lads, excuse me for this, So what about all this talk about the Green Brigade and standing and flares and all this here kind of thing? There's a lot of talk at the minute here in the English League and the Scottish League about creating standing areas. Now, Jamie, I wanted to especially ask you about this because I know when you went up to Cowboy Stadium, there's a standing area there. And what's the capacity of Cowboy Stadium? 100,000 or something? 110,000?
105,000.
Right. And when they built the stadium and there was all the to-do about it and all the hip hooray, there was nothing singled out about the standing area.
Not particularly. They said, it'll hold like 90,000, 15 could be standing.
But
for a big game.
Obviously, they're the cheap seats, right? So they're the affordable ones, if you can actually call a ticket for Yankee Stadium, or not Yankee Stadium, Cowboy Stadium affordable. But I mean, that's where you would imagine the atmosphere comes from. Would you agree or not?
I don't know. I mean, they're really, when you go to a big event where they're standing, it's a real pain in the ass because you can't go take a piss. Okay, they're everywhere. So it's kind of annoying, actually. Like if you've ever been to a BCS bowl game or you go to like I've been to all-star baseball games, it's annoying because there's just so many people. It's hard to wait in line for anything. It's a real pain in the ass, actually. They're not more rowdy, a stander.
What's the matter with you Americans? Is the guy in front not got a pocket?
That's what I was going to say. That's what the back of the leg of the guy in front of you.
I get stage fright. I need to be in a stall. I like to be alone. But no, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't really bother me. They're not more rowdy. I would not say a stander is more rowdy than a sitter. That's ridiculous.
I mean, I quite like the idea. I always sort of grew up standing at football matches, and I really enjoy it. And that's one of the things I do like about maybe trotting down the odd time to see Cheltenham Town. They've got a standing area, and I still enjoy it. Now,
do they have it in that league then?
Yeah, they do. They do. There's an area behind one of the goals that's standing. And a lot of the other teams, obviously, they're not all seater because they can't afford it. But it's good. It's good banter and good crack in it, I think it's a better option than having seats and always standing. That seems to be a bit of a trend now. Not so much at Celtic Park, but you see it on TV all the time, And I think if you're talking about health and safety, that's more dangerous. Would you not agree with that?
Sure, I guess, but I mean, they're concrete stadiums, most of them, I'm not really worried about a concrete falling, right?
No, I mean, I don't think anything's going to happen. But, if they have this standing area and they put it behind one of the goals and they have, good crash barriers, and obviously, we've moved on a long time since the awful, terrible Hillsborough disaster. I think they could do it right these days. I mean, it's not the 1980s anymore. We've moved on, and it can be done properly. And I think I'd be 100% behind it.
Yeah, I think they're a cheap ticket. We call them bleachers in baseball, so the bleacher creatures.
Mm-hmm.
And so I never wanted to sit in the bleachers because a lot of those guys were kind of crazy because it was like a $5-10 seat, to go to Yankee Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, we serve beer. You guys don't serve beer, so I think it's a great cheap ticket for a young lad who can't afford to go to Celtic Park all the time, and let him play a tenner to go.
But
why not?
It's tailor-made for the likes of the Green Brigade or sort of the younger guys that want to go and sing and dance and jump up and down and all the rest of it. Absolutely perfect for them. I say let them go to it, and stop being an ass about things. I would rather they'd done that than victimise the bloody supporters that are giving any sort of atmosphere to the stadium,
Good on you.
The Green Brigade have come in for a wee bit of a few wee pelters lately, have they?
Well, we were talking about that just before Christmas. And they're obviously in somebody's sights, A lot of people just seem to be targeting them right now, even within the club themselves, it seems.
But I think the unfair part of that is that if there's anything that happens in the stadium, coming to the stadium, outside the stadium, the Green Brigade get the rap for it. They're guilty before they even start the investigation. I mean, look at the Battle of Dundee. Yeah, I wasn't there, but if John Hartson can comment on it, so can I. But, you know...
He came in for some criticism, didn't he?
Oh, he kind of deserved it.
That term, loosely, criticism.
Aye.
And rightly so.
You know... I don't want to say too much because, you know, he's an ex-Celtic man and all the rest of it. And, you know, he still wears his green and white shirt on his chest, you know, but sometimes he doesn't think before he speaks.
No, and that was a prime example. Well, was it him or was it the paper? And again, I use that term loosely. The paper he writes for. Was it them writing the story with his name attached to it?
If you're asking me for my opinion, and it's only my opinion, if anybody came out with that as an excuse, I would say that's all it is. That's an excuse. I mean, there's nobody, a celebrity like John Hartson, I wouldn't think, that didn't know what was being written in his column. You know, who would sign up for that? What kind of idiot would sign up for something like that?
Just putting it out there.
No, I know. I think that ended up a very convenient excuse. I don't even know if he was the one that sort of ruled that out, but there was certainly a few people defending him saying, yeah, typical bloody son, and he probably didn't write it. But he never denied that he didn't say that he didn't write it, you know. And then he came out the following week apparently and tried to explain the situation, that, you know, this is really what I meant. But
well, did he? Because I didn't see any subsequent stories from him.
Following week he came out and sort of tried to paper over the cracks a wee bit and sort of a bit of damage limitation, but I think the damage had been well done by that stage, you know. And you know, John Hartson, he turns up everywhere, and the very fact that he writes for the Sun, now I wouldn't even freaking lift the Sun down in the newsagent, never mind bat or read it. You know, after everything that happened at Hillsborough and, you know, some of the things that they've said about the I hate to use the word, but, you know, about the Catholic community and stuff in Scotland and in Ireland and, you know, all this kind of stuff, and it was Maggie Thatcher's rag at the time. You know, why would a Celtic player go and write for the Sun? I mean, surely he's got plenty of dough in the bank. You know,
I've never understood that.
You know, maybe you feel sorry for Max. Like, you know, I feel sorry for, you know, you two. So I keep coming back. This is a strong possibility. That's what it is.
I'm sure he gets a good wage packet every couple of weeks, and that's the only reason I can think of it.
I mean, the reason he didn't come on the podcast is that he says, you know, it would interfere with his journalistic work, and the Sun wouldn't allow him to come on.
No, did he tell you that, or was it somebody else that told you that?
John Hartson told me that himself.
Okay, I couldn't remember. I remember you telling me the story, but okay.
Yeah, so there you go. Well, it's all out there now. Okay, so we've now signed a.
So let me interrupt you. The final of the African Cup of Nations, or the Africa Cup of Nations, is the 10th of February. We play Juventus on the 12th of February. So.
Okay, so even if he makes it to the final, he'll just be back.
What next is he going to be in the 12th of February?
But then, what's the likelihood of him making it the whole way to the final and playing a rematch as well? You know.
Can I ask about the, you know, League of Nations matches and, you know, all this international crap? I mean, why is it every day of the year? Why can't they do like every other year, like the Ryder Cup or something?
Well, they do that, except Africa do it in odd years instead of even years.
But isn't this the first year they've had it 2 years in a row?
That's right.
I think I might be right with that, yeah. But yeah, it should be every 4 years, Jamie, and fall in, you know, with the European Championships. And, you know, I mean, maybe I'm ignorant of the whole situation, but you would think that, you know, they have it at this time of the year because it's probably cooler. But I don't know. It seems a bit weird. I'm sure every manager in the world thinks, "God, I'm going to sign this player, but I'm going to lose him for a month."
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm just glad Kenya didn't make it.
Aye. I don't know. I mean, in saying that, the profile of it's getting bigger and bigger as well. I mean, all the games are live on TV here. Are you guys getting them over there?
Yeah, African matches.
Yeah.
No, we're not. I don't think we get any of them.
No.
Stop it.
good football, Jay.
Stop. If I start watching African matches, it's over. I got to get a life. I mean, you got to get a life. If you are sitting at home and you're watching Kenya versus ABC, who the hell knows? You got to get a life, man. You got to do something else. You got to get a hobby. Okay? Start putting, I don't know. I mean, put a boat, a cup, or what is with those bottles? Do something with your life.
I agree with you, Jamie. I mean, I have no interest whatsoever. I don't think I could watch it. I mean, I struggle watching, the Spanish League or the German League or the English League even sometimes. I'm not going to sit and watch bloody African Cup of Nations.
Well, no, it'd be good, actually, because you could see, there could be some player who grew up idolizing Celtic, That would be possible. Maybe you can get...
We're number 67 for Celtic.
Yeah.
It's a fair point well made, James. Yes, you're raising my enthusiasm for the competition already.
You know what? I'm calling DirecTV right now. I think you sold me. God.
So is the joint sponsorship thing now finally dead? Have we finally shaken off the shackles of our friends across the city now that we've signed a 3-year sponsorship with the Irish cider company Magners starting next year?
No. They're owned by the same company as Tennant. Okay, so it's the same thing.
Okay, let me rephrase that. C&C Group own Tennant. No, it's not the same bloody thing.
Okay, it's like one being sponsored by Coke and the other being sponsored by Diet Coke. The hell's the difference?
That would be Rangers and Hearts.
No, one sponsored by Coke, the other being sponsored by 7-Up.
You're absolutely right, Jamie. It'd be like one being sponsored by Taco Bell and the other one by Kentucky Fried Chicken.
That's fine you saying that, but they're two completely different deals, right? So in the past, they've always got the same amount of dough.
You're right in that respect. Is the value of the respect of sponsorship deals be entirely different?
That's true. And I was wrong. It would be Sprite, not 7-Up.
And aesthetically, we don't have the same sponsor on our shirts, which is a good move.
Plus, yes, of course, obviously the optics of it.
I'm telling you, I'm really glad I got my my new Tenants jersey this year. I'm pumped about that. Thanks, Santa. That's useless.
Jimmy,
that's and then if I have one quibble, and it's more than a quibble, it's one criticism of the deal. It's another alcohol company that's sponsoring it, and I'm opposed to that.
Why, Jerry?
We shouldn't be sponsoring alcohol companies. You're trying to grow the game with the next generation, and alcohol's not the place to be. A football strip's not the place to be advertising alcohol.
But you've been known to take a few wee pops in your time.
I know, but I don't need it plastered in the front of my football strip.
I know, but Jerry, in this day and age when you need every penny coming in, I mean, you can't hope that St. Vincent de Paul want to sponsor Celtic or bloody give money to UNICEF like Barcelona used to do.
I know.
What about Marbleau? Would you be okay with Marbleau? Would you?
Now you're just blowing smoke up my ass.
Literally.
I think they should approach Nutella or something like that. No.
Nutella? Bloody hell! That reminds me of that horrible old brown and green strip we had back in the 80s. Oh, God, the People's Ford one. Do you remember that, Jerry?
Of course I do.
Nutella.
You gave me one. Which one did you give me? It was an old sponsor. Wasn't it Nutella?
No, NTL.
NTL.
Yeah.
Thank you. I like that jersey.
Although, Jamie, I have to tell you something. Although you look mighty handsome in your new shirt, and when you posted the photograph of all the kids around you and all the rest with your Celtic shirt on, now that you're 40, you're going to have to hang that up and put it away.
No, I'm wearing jerseys.
Are you going to stick by that?
50. I'll give Up at 50.
Dude, you're too old. Buy it for Colin or Harrison.
It's not an age. It's how do you put this politely? It's a
waistline
size issue.
I go back to my first phrase then. Jamie, you need to retire the shirt.
Listen, I'm on a diet. I saw the same picture you did, wise ass. It was an awakening.
And that was after you photoshopped it.
I've lost 7 pounds since that photo, and I'm getting myself into Vegas shape for my.
You said this 2 years ago, pal.
I'm getting my Vegas shape ready for the pool at the Riviera.
For the pool. Jimmy jumps in, the water jumps out.
Shut up, Stumpy. All right, I need to lose a couple of pounds. But I saw someone going on the pitch with LostBhoys.com on their back, and you could have fit the www and the HTTP backslash.
Look, lads, nobody was getting around me.
Does it take a week?
I
could have went away with a team for the winter break. By the time they ran around me twice, it'd all be wrecked.
Remember you used to do that? HTTP://.
I'll tell you how bad that was. I had photographs in the club afterwards as a memento of your special day. Didn't buy any. I was there. I lived the dream. All right, very good. So,
who's this talking about Celtic, by the way? The Australian guy. Any word on him?
From the reports that I read this afternoon, it looked like a deal was getting ready to be inked. Looked like we've got him.
All right.
For about $700,000, which $700,000 was the report that I read. So again, new faces coming in. That's got to be good. I mean, when we went through the team at the tail end of last year, we didn't actually see an awful lot of areas that needed strengthened. Maybe the squad needed strengthened, but our first picks, I think we more or less agreed, by and large, were good enough. But I think even bringing in fresh faces changes things and freshens things up, huh?
It seems to be consistent with the the policy of the past couple of seasons of bringing relatively young, if not really young players, and developing them. What's the Australian guy's names? Rogic?
Yeah, Tom Rogic.
Rogic. So they're saying he's the next phenom coming out of Australia.
Mm-hmm.
But does that say much? You know, the next phenom coming out of Australia. Who was the last phenom to come out of Australia? You know,
Scott McDonald.
Scott McDonald. Harry Kewell. You know, but and the great point is they're really casting the net far and wide, right? You're going to Australia. There's talk of signing the American as well. What's his name? Aquadello. Is that what it is?
Mm-hmm.
So they're casting the net. Even the one guy they did sell, sign, he's an Israeli as well.
Yeah.
So it's markets that are not typically the markets you'd look in, are they?
Do you not think that Manchester United have been doing this for years as well, and Liverpool and all the big teams have been trawling through the less trendy countries, let's put it like that. Arsenal, look at Arsenal, you know, picking up sort of young French kids and turning them into Patrick Vieira's and stuff, you know. I think
that's what they've been doing though, is they've been letting those kids develop in those other leagues and then bringing them in to the EPL as sort of, they're not quite the finished product, but they're a lot closer than, you know, a 19, 20-year-old coming from Australia or the US. They'd have let that player go to Belgium or somewhere else similar, you know, Holland, and let them play there for a couple of seasons and then sign them and bring them in the EPL.
I mean, don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I think what we're doing now is very good. I mean, we're seeing the fruits of it, you know, with some of the players coming through, you know, when you see the likes of Izzy and you see Wanyama and guys like that as well. But it's also, you know, it's also a great credit to the club that you still see the likes of Tony Watt coming in. You know, I know we bought him locally, but you know, buying young talent and bringing it through. You know, McGeoch's another example, was at Celtic in the end, went away for a year or so and come back. But I don't think that policy is any different than any other club, any other big club.
But isn't the club in a position now, are they in a position of strength where they can take chances on a 19, 20, 21-year-old, bring him in and develop him? They don't have to play him right away. Because do you think Rogic would even see the pitch this season?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't think Neil Lennon's adverse at throwing a few youngsters in to bleed them, you know.
But there's three of, we just mentioned 3 or 4 guys that would be in front of Bangurrraaaa. Where would Rogic fit in that?
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe so. And I see Ibrahim's away. He's left. Ibrahim.
Who?
Yeah, exactly. He's away to Kilmarnock. But it was interesting.
I've seen a few pictures of that boy with the league trophy one time.
That's the closest he'll get to it again, huh?
Did you get a fee for Abraham or just cut him?
Was it 500,000?
No. Seriously?
I don't think he got a fee.
No.
Just let him go?
No, he left by mutual consent.
Oh,
yeah.
Mutually consented.
Aye, yeah. That's all right. He's going to the African Cup of Nations with Nigeria.
He gets sent back.
Oh, did he? But it was very interesting tonight. I was sitting there sort of scratching my ass, and I put on the Arsenal. Yeah, in the bath. And I put on the Arsenal-Swansea match. And to see Key play for Swansea, and you just thought, what have you done? Surely he goes to some of these games and thinks, God, what an opportunity I've missed.
Oh, I've talked about this a few times recently.
Mm-hmm. I just don't get it. You know, it baffles me. Absolutely baffles me.
Uh-huh. Who was offering Hooper 30,000 a week?
There was talk of Norwich.
That's right, Norwich.
Right. Again, see above, see key. Why would Hooper leave playing against Barcelona in the Champions League to go and play for Norwich?
And
He's not going to leave this year, but he said he would probably leave in the summer. Well, he said that.
Well, you know what? If we come on a good fee for him and he does leave at the end of the season, you know, I think Hooper has done so well for us. You would have to wish the boy good luck.
Of course, he's done well for himself.
Yeah, of course he has. But, that, you know, Jerry, it's a two-way street. You know, we picked him up for good money and we'll sell him on for a lot more than what we paid for him. And we'll hopefully have the championship trophy in the cabinet and maybe a few other bits of silverware along with that. And, you know, he's contributed to that. You know, he's contributing to the adventure that is Europe this year, you know.
Is 30,000 a week worth it to play for Norwich, where you're going to be struggling every season to, you know, stay up?
Well, what would you think he'd be earning at Celtic? 25?
I don't know.
You know? I mean, I don't think many players would move for an extra $5,000 a week from a worldwide club like Celtic to go and play for Norwich.
I don't think he's on 25 right now.
You don't think he earns as much as that?
I think he's being offered 25 right now.
Mm-hmm. By Celtic?
I think that's the offer that they're making to him.
Well, even that, I think that's good business.
But that still makes sense of what you're saying. Is it worth it for an extra 5,000 to go play for Norwich?
Yeah.
It's $500,000 difference, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's right, but everything's relevant too, Jimmy, you know.
Well, no, 250,000. Get your math right.
I mean, $25,000 a week, right, is $100,000 a month, so he's still on £1 million, over £1 million a year with Celtic. I mean, does £5,000 come into the equation when you earn $1.2 million a year?
But you look at that. So $1.2 million pounds. How much US dollars is that, Jamie? About close to 3?
About 10 million.
55, 60 bucks.
It's about 2 million, right? About 1.8 million, yeah.
2 million?
1.8.
Now, if Hooper was the equivalent of a baseball player, he's on 15 million a year.
I know, but so's Ronaldo, so's Messi.
But no, that's right. If Messi was a baseball player, he's making 50 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what's your point there? I'm curious.
You took up the wrong sport.
I took up the wrong sport. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, A-Rod makes 30 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's all relative, I think, Jerry. I think that's what you're saying, when you compare them to the...
I was just thrown out there for comparison's sake. Because I remember one time I calculated Larsson's wage, and I was surprised in comparison how little he would actually make. I was thinking if he was, a North American athlete playing baseball or basketball, he'd be on 3 times that money.
Yeah. Those two especially.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas hockey, not so much, and even football, not so much.
Right.
But what's interesting, that's interesting, because when you talk about baseball, the home team discount, Jer?
Mm-hmm.
You don't hear that a lot when we're talking about, especially the last 3 years or 4 years we've done the podcast. Would Hooper give a home team discount?
Larsson gave us a home team discount.
So I'm not familiar with that term. What do you mean by home team discount?
A player would rather play with the team that, a long term. If he's played for a team for a long term, he'd rather stay with that team and take less money as opposed to putting himself out in the open market and getting as much money as he could.
Okay.
For instance, Larsson could have easily went to Manchester United and made a lot more money, but he decided to stay with Celtic. You'd call that a hometown discount.
Okay. So the other thing I was thinking about this whole Hooper thing going to Norwich is, okay, so say Norwich paid him £40,000 a week, whatever, right? A footballer's career isn't very long, right? And probably Hooper's at this wonderful age right now where he could command a big fee. But see, when you think about a footballer coming to the end of his career, which team would you rather play for and being a hero at, Celtic or Norwich? Because there's more to it than just playing football. If you're a player for Celtic and you're a really good player for Celtic, whenever you finish playing, do you not think that your stock as a coach, even if you've done your coaching badges, would be higher if you were a hero at Celtic? And your book rights, if you're going to write your book and release your DVD and all the rest of it, if you're playing for a team like Celtic instead of Norwich. There's more to it.
Is that the last chapter of Dion Dublin's book? I got to play for Celtic for a month.
And he scored. Don't worry, we'll be getting on to Gordon Strachan in a minute.
I've been waiting for it.
But there's more to it.
Yeah, I guess, Christopher, but when you really look at it, if I'm his agent, and I'm just playing devil's advocate with you, I'm telling him to get the money because you just never know when his ACL is going to pop. Yeah,
but you're my agent, you're getting 10%. Of course you're going to tell him that.
Well, I'd try to get 15. Listen, it's a business. And you know what? If he does pop his ACL, Celtic are quick to drop his ass. It's a business, and that's unfortunate.
No. I totally disagree with that. Because you look at the likes of young Liam Miller, when Liam Miller was coming through in a team, and he got that injury, right? I think he pulled his hamstring, or he done something anyway. And he's only a young guy. And Sean Maloney's another good example of that too. Celtic renewed their contracts and kept them on and rehabilitated them back to health again. And then they left very soon after that. So everybody's entitled to do that. I don't agree with what you're saying, that the club would just drop you if you got a bad injury. I think you've still got a year, 18 months after that to see if they could do everything they could to get you back in a shirt.
Oh, they re-signed Sean Maloney. because they got him for peanuts because he was an injury-prone piece of glass, and they were able to sign him for nothing.
I'm not talking about re-signing him. I'm talking about when he left to go to Aston Villa.
Yeah, and that's why they signed him, because they signed him a long-term deal. They're like, well, we already got some money invested in this clown. Let's hopefully he has a couple good years, and we can dump him for money.
Yeah, I think you're a bit harsh on the club. I don't know in this day and age whether it's just as ruthless as that if somebody gets injured. I would say probably 20 years ago you'd be right, but I don't think that's the case today. And also, with the
club saying that, I'm saying that's business. That's why you guys constantly, we have had numerous talks about bringing in a guy and nurturing them up and then dumping them when their value is high, so that you can have a bunch of Rasmussens and not feel too bad about it.
Look at John Candy. John Candy got an injury, and now he looks after the under-19 team. I don't think that Celtic's the monster you're making out, Jimmy.
No, I'm not. I'm just. It's still a business. I mean, you're allowed. That's why you can bring in the Kyles and nurture them up, and hopefully, dump Kyle in a few years. Maybe Kyle's not a great example, but and then you can fail on the Rasmussens and not feel too bad about it.
Oh, I know. I understand that there's balances and checks there too. I understand that.
But no, come on. I mean, it's a business.
Okay, anyway, back to the football.
I heard your favourite man got a job.
God bless him. Tell you what, I'm 100% behind Gordon Strachan now. I have openly apologised. The man talks nothing but sense. I mean, even the sound bites already, what he said about the when the guy asked him would he play any Rangers guys from the 3rd Division, he says, I don't think Berwick have any good enough players. And then did you hear the other one he says about they say to him, so is this the biggest job in your career so far? And he says, I was manager of Celtic. There's no bigger job than that. See all you doubters out there that don't like Gordon Strachan. Wee man's brilliant.
Right, but okay.
So you as a Scotsman, Gerard, good appointment?
I don't really follow the Scotland team that much.
Well, you would follow them if they ever get any bloody good tournaments.
Oh, that's just it. That's the only time I follow them.
But it's got to be good news as a Scotsman, that you've appointed somebody like Gordon Strachan. At long last, you've got a bit of a name in there and somebody that can, develop a team.
Yes, absolutely. You're absolutely correct. It's a name recognition that would cause me to pay attention.
I bet you watch the next Scotland match, though.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I probably will.
Uh-huh.
I'll certainly be paying close attention to their progress from now on until he gets sacked.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Yeah, next year.
Aye.
Caldwell McManus will be back at the centre of the Scottish defence. Europe beware.
Talking about Twitter, did you see Darren O'Dee's Twitter yesterday?
Yeah.
He says with Strachan as the new manager, Gary Caldwell's going to take all the corners, the free kicks. He's got to be the captain. What else? So I don't know if Darren O'Dea exactly appreciates Gordon Strachan.
I think he said takes all the throw-ins, the free kicks, the corners. He wears the captain's armband.
You know what? I mean, all joking aside, good luck to the wee man. I have to say that. We've been really harsh on Gordon Strachan on this podcast, and I don't take any of it back. I said what I thought at the time, and people forget what the situation was when we were doing some of the podcasts and how awful the team was to watch. But good luck to him. I think it's a brilliant appointment for Scotland, and I'm delighted for you. Well done.
It's probably the best appointment for Scotland. If you look at all the available candidates, at least with a connection to Scotland, he was probably the best candidate available.
I mean, even for publicity's sake, his sound bites are good. He's good with the press. He seems to really, have his team trying their heartstrings out for him. I think it'll be nothing but progress compared to that other donkey Levine, like.
But that's the problem, Chris. It's the Scottish media he has to get on his side. The first bad result, they'll just eat him up.
They'll remind him of his biggest job, I would think.
Aye, exactly.
Not that we're paranoid. Yay!
Ding, 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 ding. The 2013.
We're off to a good start. Conspiracy theory, new one for the year. Brilliant. Okay, lads. So back to the fantastic thing that is the SPL. I mean, just before we talk about the Hearts match on Saturday, they talked about all this Armageddon, right? And we have had a right good belly laugh at that all season, right? And it's a one horse league and all the rest of it. See, when you look around Europe right now, all the leagues are one horse leagues.
And they are every season.
Yeah. Well, England went right to the wire last year.
Last year, yeah.
But look at Manchester United, miles out in front, right? Celtic, miles out in front. Barcelona, miles out in front. It's no different. And for people to say, without them in the league, it's going to fall apart. What a crap. These people are idiots. Anyway,
what's your take, real quick, on the realignment, 18-12-12 or 12-12-18? What's your feeling there?
Anything that keeps Rangers in the bottom division gets my vote.
For as long as possible.
As long as possible.
I can't figure out, is 18 the top division or bottom?
A top flight of 12, a championship of 12, and a national league of 18 is the proposal.
All right, so Rangers would stay in 18.
Yeah.
All right, there you go.
That's fantastic, isn't it? I'll Chuckles, he's taking the hump too. He doesn't want to play for the rest of the season. I don't really think he needs to worry. He'll probably not be here this time next season. He wants to go to the English conference.
Next season they'll be sponsored by a dry cleaner.
Just think, 2 seasons, Chris, they could be playing in Cheltenham.
Hey, don't you be saying that now. You know what? I was in Dundalk. Bring them on. All the Irish fans know what I was talking about there. I wasn't in Dundalk. I was a lie. All right, so we're looking forward to Saturday. Sorry, Jamie. So what's your take? Do you fancy it, or do you not care? Is it irrelevant, or what do you think?
I think look, I've had this. Remember, it seems like years ago, how to fix the SPL, and I think they're finally listening. Now, between some revenue sharing, and that's, I think it's good for the league. It's good for Scotland.
How does it fix things?
Look, I'm not saying it's a silver bullet. It's going to fix everything, but I mean, it puts some more revenue sharing in place for a team like St. Johnston that maybe spend some more money, get the pitches better, and I think I'm always for the artificial pitches. They're better because it proves you can't grow grass in Scotland.
Cliftonville's pitch is brilliant.
10 feet tall.
The limited reading I have done on the subject, it appears there would be more competition in that middle band, if you want, after they have their split. There seems to be some more games of significance in that middle band. So it couldn't be that bad. If you still get something to play for right to the end of the season, then I suppose it'd be a good thing.
I think it is all a load of cock and bull, right?
Well, the bottom line of it, Chris, is for one purpose and one purpose only, and that's to get the newest team in Scottish football promoted as fast as possible.
I don't know about that, Jerry. I don't know about that.
Of course it is.
My point about all this restructuring, we talk about it all the time, and it comes up all the time. If you drink Coca-Cola and they change the tin, you still drink Coca-Cola. It doesn't make it any more attractive. It's not going to earn any more money. It makes no difference whatsoever. Scotland is Scotland. There's Celtic and everybody else. And until you've got teams like Aberdeen and Dundee United that were a real threat in Europe in the 80s, until those days came back, which are still a long way off, you still only have Celtic. It's the only thing you've got to market.
Okay,
so what you do in the second division and the third division is totally irrelevant.
You're absolutely right.
Okay, but hold one second. It's not like, I know you said, Celtic are winning the league very much right now. But they haven't walked away with the league. They've lost some matches.
Absolutely, which is good, and it's good competition.
It is. Anything that can improve a little bit is a good thing.
But it doesn't really matter.
So, instead of trying to promote or not promote, but enhance the lower divisions, put as much effort as possible into making your top league, the SPL, even more competitive as possible, and give teams like Dundee United and Aberdeen and Hibs more of a better opportunity to improve, and give them more opportunity to get in Europe and make some kind of an impact.
Yeah.
As you say, Chris, what you do in the second and third division is totally irrelevant.
All you want to do there is keep teams afloat.
Mm-hmm.
Keep the 1,500 fans that go to watch some of the lower league teams. Give them somewhere to go on a Saturday afternoon. But see the teams in the Premier League. You want not only Celtic but at least one other team to be able to have a crack at the Europa League, or have a crack at getting into the group stages of the Champions League. But right now in Scotland, the only thing that is a commodity that's worth any money is Glasgow Celtic.
And that's why I make my point is you open up this discussion of restructuring, and it's got one aim in mind, and that's to get the newest team in Scotland promoted as fast as possible. As soon as you open up that discussion of restructuring, then you can start gerrymandering the rules as you see fit. And that's what they did to get that team in the league in the first place.
Mm. But I mean, that's still a minimum of 2 years away. Rangers still might not be here in 2 years' time.
I wouldn't put it past them. They would do anything possible.
Mm. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me. I think we're still miles away from getting a Dundee United to be a strong force. But I agree with you, Jerry. I'd put all the money into the top division, all the money, and keep everybody else afloat.
And I think the SPL came out today. I saw the headlines, but I haven't read the story yet. That the SPL came out and said, "Well, this restructuring proposal it's not a done deal. The SPL haven't signed off on it, and if I was them, I don't know why they would."
No, I know. The only good that can come out of it, I think, is that hopefully between the two groups of jokers that run the two leagues, the SFA and the SPL, you'll get some good administrators in there, the best of the bunch, that maybe do have something in their closet that can bring a bit more glamour to the Scottish game.
There's probably some very keen minds down in the lower divisions that are just getting trapped down in those lower divisions.
Yeah,
you never know.
Yeah, no, I agree. Okay, so all that being said, we are home to Hearts on Saturday, and Hearts are having an absolute dog of a season. They're sitting 9th at the minute. Their goal difference is -2, and they've 25 points. They are 18 points behind Celtic, and they are, let me see, if you split it a third, they're 5 points off the split. You would have to say that you would fancy Celtic at Celtic Park, although we could talk about how we haven't really performed very well at Celtic Park as well, but I think after the break that'll all change. I think you'll see Celtic get a bit of a head of steam here.
I've been saying all season, you expect them to come out at home with their tails up, but it really hasn't materialised. But I think after this break, I made the prediction after the Champions League qualification, or after the group stages of the Champions League, that I didn't expect Celtic to drop more than 3 points between then and the middle of February. Mm-hmm. And they've dropped, what is it, 3?
They lost to Hibs. Yeah,
that's it. I think, right?
That's it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's the 3 points. And if you look at the fixtures, you've got Hearts, you've got Dundee United at home. Who else? Look at this. I'm looking at the fixtures right now. So the next 3 league games are all at home. You've got Hearts, you've got Dundee United.
That's the rearranged match, though, the Dundee United match on Tuesday night. Yeah.
But it's still home.
And then
It's a home game.
It's Kilmarnock, yeah.
Yeah. So you've got 3 home games.
Mm-hmm.
You have to think they're not going to drop any points this month.
No, you would hope not. You would hope not. And I agree with you, Jay. I think they're going to come back after this break, and I think Celtic will sweep everybody before them. You know, and the team that run out against Motherwell on the 2nd of January, which was amazingly the last match, was Foster, Matthews, Izagiri, Ambrose, Wilson, Mulgrew, Commons, Kyle, Wanyama, Samaras, and Hooper. So we're obviously going to be without Ambrose. What would you do to change that? Would you bring Thomas Ronye straight back in there? Keep it the way it is?
What about McGrew in that spot?
And then who would you bring in the midfield? Would you drop Sammy back and bring Watt in alongside Hooper?
Yeah, you could do that.
See, when you look at that team, that's a pretty good team.
Well, Stokesy's better now, too. Why can't you put Sammy and Stokesy?
Interesting. What's your take on Anthony Stokes?
I used to go off on the Stokes Hooper combo. I'd like to see it.
Has time moved on?
No. He got hurt.
And I know he got hurt, but you've got a young boy sitting on the bench that Chris Kuyava has made famous.
That's true. He made him very famous.
Tony Watt!
I think there's room for both.
You have Lassad there as well. Do you even think that Stokes will get a seat in the bench?
I'd really like to see him play a little.
You know, this Stokes debate has become the new McCourt debate.
Yeah, I know, but you can't debate it when the boy's out injured. You know, now that he's coming back.
But I'm just saying it's going to develop that way. We're going to talk about this week in and week out now till the end of the season about Anthony Stokes.
No,
and it's not just going to be us. It's going to be the whole support. The whole support's going to be talking about, you know, where does Anthony Stokes fit in the equation?
Mm-hmm.
So
where does he fit?
Does he deserve just to walk right back in at the team?
No.
Even though he has been injured, granted, but does he deserve just to walk right in at the team?
The thing about Anthony Stokes, but Stokes gives you something different to Samaras, to Hooper, and to Watt. If I was looking at those 4 strikers, and we're not even talking about Lassad here, right? And maybe we'll add him in. I think Watt and Hooper...
Or Bangurrraaaa.
All right.
You're being ridiculous.
I think Watt and Hooper are very similar. I can see them sort of swapping in and out. I think Sammy's unique. I also think Anthony Stokes gives you something different. I think he gives you more hustle and bustle and a bit more fight than any of them.
Yeah. I was reading an interesting stat this afternoon. They were talking about Stokes, where he scored his goals last season. And the majority of his goals, if not all his goals, were scored against the bottom 6 clubs in the SPL.
What does that tell you?
Take from that what you want, but that was the statistic that was thrown out there.
So if that's the case, he would have played against Hibernian and we probably would have got beaten 1-0 and would have had maybe 3 extra points on the table. But it doesn't matter, Jerry. It doesn't matter. I mean, they went on about that clown Boyd.
He did score in Europe as well.
Yeah.
He scored a couple of goals in Europe. So,
you know, they went on about that clown Boyd for Rangers and how he was better than Larson, scored more goals than Larson and all the rest of it. But at the end of the day, he still stuck the ball in the net against the lower league teams, and that was what people criticised him over. He still has a few medals in his drawer.
And especially when they were winning those games 2-1.
Yeah, so you need to score against the wee teams too. That's one thing about this season. We haven't scalped very many teams.
No, you're right.
The 5-0s haven't been there.
Let me look at the scores here.
While you're looking that up, I kind of like,
5-0.
1. But I do like the old adage, you don't lose your spot for an injury, due to an injury.
I know, but Jamie, how can you say that if the team's playing well and the team's winning?
I know, but this would be a good weekend to give him a run out. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it would be.
Give him it's a good weekend to give him a run out. So, it's a semi-rivalry game, right?
Yes, it's a big rival. It's probably our biggest rivalry game.
Right now, yeah, sure.
Yeah,
so
right.
let's run him out. And, I think he does well in those games. Plus, I like his fire. He's got plus him and, Brown on the pitch at the same time. That's good fire.
But here's the problem with that, Jamie. Say it backfires.
Then you
Right.
put what in?
You've got all this. No, but say Celtic lost against Hearts and Anthony Stokes played up front. And I'm only,
Yeah,
talking
but you're not
fantasy
going to
now.
lose because of Stokes. I mean, you're not going to lose.
Do you forget how fickle we are?
Yeah, you're nuts. I understand this, but he doesn't play center back.
I mean, I know it's all hypothetical, but say we lost against Hearts, right? And the only change to the team, with the exception, obviously, of Ambrose, was Anthony Stokes. This whole momentum of the feel-good factor, which is way up on the Richter scale right now at Celtic Park, and all of a sudden we lose to Hearts at home. Lenny would kick himself. I don't know if Lenny wants to do that. Now, if you put him on the bench and brought him on...
You're up how many points? 7?
It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. This is the closest thing we've got to a Celtic Rangers match. We're 9 points clear.
9 points clear with a game in hand. So
we don't have. Well, we have a game in hand over Cali, who are in second.
Right.
I just think that'll be a huge gamble. I'd be tempted to bring him off the bench if you're sort of 2-0 up, but I think tinkering with the Samaras, Hooper, Watt, the magical three, the real three amigos, I think would be very brave.
So do you start Sammy and Hooper, and then who do you put in? So back to Rogney then, right?
I think I would put Rogney back in, although my faith in him isn't great, but I think he'd do all right against Hearts.
So Kyle Brown in the middle with Commons on the right,
yeah,
and Mulgrew on the left.
Yeah, I think I'd go with that.
Okay.
If everybody's fit.
So they've had three games that they've won by more than 2 goals.
Is that all season, Jerry? Or just in the SPL?
Just in the SPL.
Okay. Well, I see. We're not burying teams. Well, probably all starting Saturday.
There's at least half the games are by 2 goals.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of 2-1, 3-2 games in there.
So the Armageddon didn't come. It's actually been a very good, tight, interesting league, hasn't it?
It has.
Mm-hmm.
Despite 9 points. It really has, despite the standings.
Yeah.
Well, you look at it, take Celtic out of the equation, you just look at all the other SPL games, whether it's Motherwell, Aberdeen, Dundee United, and Hearts. The rest of the league is very, very competitive because they know they've got a lot to play for.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is they know, these teams know that they've got a lot to play for.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of the league, you can't pick a winner. And, my vices in life, I like to
a wee flutter?
Try and pick some winners on the weekend. And you can't do it in the SPL.
No.
Look, Celtic are going to win this league, right? But there's no guarantee they're going to win it double-digit wise.
No, but the competition for second and the competition for Europe is very tight. The relegation, poor old Dundee, they're finished. Like.
Yeah, they shouldn't have been there in the first place.
But they got a dirty deal. They only got
the
pulled
biggest
in.
problem is it's all those rioting Celtic supporters.
Right.
And all those things that we're not allowed to talk about in the podcast anymore, like sectarian songs and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, gentlemen, what else have we got for this evening?
Hey, one quick thing. For our YouTube fans, and I've known to watch a few things on YouTube, have any of you watched about 45-minute video, The Most Dangerous Rivalry in Sports?
No.
Have you seen that?
Nope.
Google it. And on YouTube, check it out. It's about Celtic and Rangers, and it's an English.
I've watched it before, Jamie.
It was a 2001 season, right when Rangers' troubles are hitting the media even more, and I liked it.
And was it interviewing fans and all that there kind of stuff, or was it just on the history of the clubs?
Complete fans. And for us, I've had a lot of my family and friends watch this. And they're like, how did you get caught up in this? And but it does give a good outsider's perspective. As a fan of both Celtic, though, it'll make you crazy. And if you were a supporter of Rangers, it would make you crazy.
I'm sure it portrays neither in a very good light.
No, it doesn't.
I would expect that.
I don't think it does. I think Celtic comes off a little better.
Well, that's because we are better.
True. It's very true. But Rangers don't come off so well.
Well, it's
understandable. Who's this Rangers you keep talking about?
Oh, I'm sorry. Sepco, whatever the hell they're called.
Oh, that's really getting on my tits.
What? What?
There is no such a team.
Ugh. Okay.
Anyways, we've done well for 7 months not talking about it. No. Let's not get caught up in the...
They'll peel into insignificance again anyway. I mean...
I know what you're talking about. They're not on my radar.
No, that's right. But if they do fold again, or else somebody else buys them for 50p this time, I'd like to have a wee chuck on that. What?
They're not folding again, are they?
I'm just saying, I don't want to talk about it. He ends up talking about it.
I know. But that's why he's a genius. He's the man.
All right, then, lads, give me a prediction for Saturday. That'll wrap us up.
Celtic 2, Hearts 0. Anthony Stokes comes on in the 71st minute and scores on the 82nd minute.
Scores and all. Jerry, what about yourself?
We're just talking about, we haven't buried teams, but Celtic have been getting some good results against Hearts in the past couple of seasons.
Right.
The last game was 4-0.
Aye.
I sort of see the same scoreline. 3-0.
I think we'll thump Hearts on Saturday.
I think so as well.
I think we're going to have a more difficult test on Tuesday night against Dundee United.
That's an interesting one because their manager is in sort of a state of flux right now, is he not? Is he coming, or is he going, or is he staying?
He's not. Houston you're talking about? Yeah. No, I don't think he's going now. I think him and Big Butcher both decided not to go, isn't that right?
Does that mean they didn't get the job then?
Aye, might be. Yeah, you're probably right. No, I think that's going to be a tougher game on Tuesday night. That's a 7:45 kickoff. And I know Dundee United are sitting 8th above Hearts, would you believe, within the same number of points. But I think Dundee United have a wee bit more going forward.
I'm looking right now. Where's that game? That's home.
It's at home, yeah. The next 3's at home.
Yeah.
Sorry, the next 2's at home. Well, we've got a League Cup match in between the Dundee United match and the
Kilmarnock league games are at home.
That's correct. And then we're in the League Cup the following week away to St Mirren on the Sunday. And that's a 2:30 kickoff. All right, gentlemen. Let's wrap it up and let Jamie get going.
Guys, what a pleasure. I'm so glad to talk to you again. I missed you both. Christopher, we're not done with Vegas, not even a long shot. You're not going freaking Euro at Disney. That's embarrassing.
You think you can turn me?
You know what you have to do, McGuigan, is just hand in your man card, hand in your Celtic card, and off you go to France.
Off you go.
Look, you can try all this reverse psychology if you like. I think I might go, lads.
You think you might go what? Paris?
No, Vegas, you twit.
You're going to Vegas, aren't you?
I'll show my parents. I'll see what I can do.
Can I say one last thing?
The guy has to rush away.
I got to get out of here, but I want to say one thing. And I'm not getting political, right? I just want to thank Celtic for being one of the best things in my life, wise, of a club and sport. Because, after the terrible massacre here in the United States, and for them over there to ask for a minute of silence And it just shows the class of this great sport. I know some people ragged on Twitter of why Celtic are doing it, and they're doing it because they're just great. And I love them so much. I thank you both for getting me involved in this wonderful supporters club. Thank you.
And so ends the party political broadcast for the virtual party.
It's not meant to be. I'm just saying, it's just so, God bless them for doing that.
Very nice, James.
You don't
Very
have
nice.
to add it if you don't want to. It's just between me and you. That's fine.
Why don't you get your ass over here to see them then?
But
for psychology.
There you go.
It put a tear in my eye. It really did. All right, piss off. You're not acting. That's fine. You don't have to put it on there. I don't care. All right, get out of here. I got to go, actually, now.
All right, lads. Talk to you all next week.
Goodbye.
Au revoir.
Cheers.
Au revoir. All right, I got to go. That was brilliant. That was good.
See you, lads. So there you are, lads and lasses. That's us for another week. That was brilliant. It has been ages since I've had a good old natter with them two clowns. But great to catch up with them. I meant to put in the sex team and the average Joe Celtic fan reading from an ex-Celtic player's book, but I forgot. So I have two lined up, and I think you both know who you are, and my apologies, it'll be on the next podcast. We will have a podcast next week. That's what we're planning to do anyway. I know I've said that before, but yeah, why not? Why not? It's so much fun tonight, and we sort of say, why are we not doing this every week and all this here kind of stuff? So we should have one next week. So remember, you can follow us all on Twitter. You can follow Lost Boys on Twitter at the Lost Boys. You can follow Jerry on Twitter at Spartan Boy. You can follow Jamie Birchall on Twitter at Jamie Birchall. And you can follow me on Twitter at Chris Lostboy. We also have the Facebook page, we have the HailHailMedia page, and every other medium under the sun. You know how to get in contact with us. So don't forget to check out HailHailMedia, and you'll see lots of other podcasts coming up over the next few days. From what I'm hearing, you're going to be spoiled very soon, because there was a wee bit of a lull with the winter break and all that kind of good stuff. But I think everybody's getting ready to get back into it. So you should have something every day. So turn off Clyde and support your side and tune in to HailHailMedia. So that's it. My name's Chris McGuigan. You're listening to Lost Boys, playing us out as usual, Charlie and the Boys, and the song of the Lonesome Boatman. I will talk to you all next week. Cheers.